All right, I'm making this video just because I had a number of comments of people asking for it. I have done like solo Nightmare 4 guides for every character except for Blade. And the reason for that is because Blade is, in my opinion, he is literally a cakewalk. So if you are still struggling with Blade, you want to get your achievements so that you can get your... yeah, where's that? And no, that's Lunar Vengeance. That's the one. It's like there's so many titles. You want to get your Lunar Vengeance title, man. I gotta tell you guys, if you're just trying to get any one of these solo Nightmare 4 clears, the easiest one to do is Blade. Let me walk you through it real quick, and in the background, I'll show you a clear that I had. I had no deaths in Wave 15. I had no deaths in Wave 20. I had a couple of deaths where I was just stupid, like I dashed into one of the sentinels and I died, but other than that, that was just me being dumb. Like the things that normally make people struggle in solo Nightmare 4 clears are just quite simply not an issue for Blade. So basic setup, green, orange, orange on my abilities, full red tree. Okay, green, orange, orange, full red tree. This doesn't matter. We're not going to use our caltrops. We're not going to use our gun at all. Like, this guy is so straightforward that you're not going to have to worry about any of this stuff. I'm also not ever using my ultimate ability. I don't use my ult a single time. I don't use my gun a single time. I press E to activate my Bloodline Awakening state the second I spawn in, and that's it as far as abilities go, guys. You're going to hit shift every now and then just to queue up your spins. But that's it, ladies. He's just so easy. We're literally just going to look at things and hold left click, and they're all going to die. That's how Blade works. So Bloodline Awakening gives you life steal. You know, some characters struggle with this. You have to get Vampiric Vitality, the purple card, to leech life. Like, Magic has to have this card or she will die. She has no way to self-heal. Blade's not like that. You cut things, they die, you heal. It's that simple. So let's talk about the cards that you're going to have to buy and why they matter. We'll kick things off with just the red card. Well, actually, I'm going to kick things off with blue cards. You're going to be like, what? We're a full red tree. Why would we buy any blue cards? I want you to buy 2 blues. That's it. Just 2 blues. It's this one right here. It's called Sacrificial Sigil. Or Sacrifice Sigil. Sorry. Sacrifice Sigil. Basically makes it so that when you get a kill, there's a percentage chance, 15% chance, that killing an enemy will spawn an Ankh. And the thing about when an Ankh spawns on the battlefield is it yanks all of the just regular zombies to it. Okay, not the big bosses and sentinels, but every other type of zombie in the game is just going to get pulled like a black hole into that Ankh. And that's actually going to make crowd control so easy as Blade. So buy 2 of these so that 1 out of every 3 enemies you kill will spawn an Ankh, and you're good. So you'll notice this in the background gameplay a lot of times, like especially when it comes to your exploding zombies or your your green goo throwing zombies. You kill one of them, they spawn an Ankh, and then all of them get sucked into the same location as the one you just killed, which means you don't have to like turn, you don't have to chase other enemies down. They all get sucked into the same location and they all die at once. And so with where other heroes struggle because these special zombies, like your exploding ones, are all over the field, and you have to try to navigate that like crap. I gotta avoid that area and that area and that area. Blade does not have to worry about that because all of these special zombies are just getting sucked to one location and they're all going to die in the same spot, meaning their AoE attacks are all going to be localized into just one small area that you have to avoid, as opposed to the, like half of the floor being lava. Just one spot you got to avoid. So buy 2 sacrifice sigils and you're done. After that, we're going to talk about reds. And the thing about Blade is that there's a lot of reds we're just not going to buy, okay? On the Hunt is your damage card. Buy every one of these, bar none. Every single On the Hunt you see, you're going to purchase. This is just going to increase the amount of damage you do with your sword. The sword's the only attack we're going to do, so it's very important. And then with Swift Edge, this increases your attack speed. We're going to buy every single one of these as well because attack speed means more attacks per second equals more DPS, more damage per second. So we're going to buy every Swift Edge and every On the Hunt. When it comes to Sweeping Edge, eventually there's a point where you've probably got enough. I bought most of the ones I saw. I'm gonna be 100% transparent with you guys. I have only ever done 1 solo Blade Nightmare 4 clear. That's because I got it on my first try and it was a walk in the park. So it's not like, oh, I have 10 clears and this is exactly the number of sweeping edges I bought. Like, I don't know. I bought probably 2/3 of the sweeping edges I saw just to give myself more attack range. And I kind of played it by ear. Eventually, I got to the point where I stopped buying them because I was reaching things that were on the other side of the map. And I was like, I think I've got enough range. So I just stopped buying them. So maybe 2/3 of the sweeping edges I saw. Crimson Will. This is your lifesteal. I'm just gonna say buy 2 vampiric vitalities and be done. I bought 1 gold Crimson Will, right? 1 legendary Crimson Will and 1 vampiric vitality in my clear, and that was it. And I never struggled with lifesteal. I just had so much that every time I attacked something, I was back to full health. But yeah, I would say either 1 gold Crimson Will and 1 vampiric vitality, or 2 vampiric vitalities, mix and match, whatever. But you don't need to go overboard with these. Maybe you could just get 1 and call it a day. And that's about it. You've got lifesteal baked into Blade plus your vampiric vitality, and so you're set. So you don't need to spend too much money on these things. 1 or 2 and then just be done with it. In my clear, I actually tried to duplicate on the hunt because as soon as I spawned in, I got a legendary on the hunt. And I was like, oh, man, what are the chances? So I spent 15 to gamble to see if I could duplicate on the hunt. And I got the freaking, I don't remember what it's called. It's the one that just shoots life packs everywhere every time you get healed. And I was like, well, I just wasted 15 currency. But I just decided to forge ahead with it. And it was still so easy. So you don't need to do any duplication of red cards. Don't worry about it. Blade is just going to have enough damage baked in that it's not going to be a problem. Edge extension. Don't buy a single one of these. We're never going to use our ultimate, and this only changes our ultimate. So if we're not using the ult, there's no point in wasting money buying edge extension. So don't get any of these at all. Blade dance. I'm going to tell you to go ahead and buy every blade dance you see. This is the one that makes it so that you get more spins every time you dash at something. So you hit your shift ability or whatever it is, a controller. I'm just not sure right now. But your dash ability, your Daywalker dash, then leads into this spinning attack. And the more blade dance cards you've bought, the longer that spin is going to be. And it ramps up your DPS quite a bit because you're throwing out just way more attacks per second. So this is really good for cutting Wanda's bubble down. And then obviously when you get to boss DPS phases, it just makes them much shorter as long as you're just constantly spinning. So buy every blade dance you see as well. Fatal Rout. Again, this is a card that only affects your ultimate, and we are never going to pop our ultimate, so you do not buy Fatal Rout. Don't buy it. You don't need it. It's wasted money. Don't buy it. Okay, let's talk about the purple cards. So I'm going to buy basically every power surge that is 8 and above, 8% and above, so your tier 2 power surges. I didn't buy any 2.5s. I think I bought maybe 2/3 of the 8%, and every 16 and every 35%, right? So no 2.5s, maybe 2/3 of the 8%, everything that's above that, 16 and 35%. Bought all of those. We're just going to be full sending on our damage. It's going to make this such a cakewalk. So full send on damage, everything's going to die fast, and you're not going to have any problems. When it comes to vitality, I tend to have these like checkpoints. I've talked about these in my other solo guides, but my goal is usually to have 6,000 HP by wave 10, 8,000 HP by wave 15, and 10,000 HP by the final wave. And I had so much more than that that it was. I never was close to dying in the, from wave 15 to 20. I didn't die at all. It was just so easy, and there were no problems. The only things you got to worry about are your like one-shot kills. Like if an exploding zombie blows up on you, it doesn't matter how much HP you've spec'd into, you're just gonna die. You can't tank that. But when it comes to your boss fights, usually the 6, 8, 10k HP rule works pretty well for me, but I had way more than that this time. I don't know why. Maybe I just got lucky with my legendaries. But I didn't buy any tier 1 vitalities. I bought half of the tier 2s, and I bought almost everything that was tier 3 and tier 4 vitalities until I got to wave 19. I had so much HP by wave 19 that I just decided with my final deck, right before the final wave, I was going to only invest in damage. But beyond that, we really just want to make sure we're buying every Moonlight Protection because this is going to reduce the amount of damage that's incoming. Like when you think about it, let's say you have 10,000 HP. That means that 10% of your HP would be 1,000, right? 5% damage reduction, let's think about this. So you got 1,000 is 10%. That means half of that is 500. 500 damage. 500 HP would be 5% of your overall HP, right? If you had 10,000. Does that make sense? I know that that's kind of nerding out over numbers, but just to simplify it, buy every Moonlight Protection, because the short answer is they're better than your Vitality boost, like I said, is 450, as opposed to 5% of 10k HP is 500, which is greater than 450. I know I'm getting nerdy here. Just buy every Moonlight Protection because they are translating to huge HP boosts for you in the long run. So buy every Moonlight Protection. Primordial Frost and Zeus's Thunder. We're not going to get a single one of these. These are all wasted money, so just do not buy them. I basically bought every 450 Vitality, like I said, and every 35% Power Surge. Beyond that, don't buy any Restorative Respire. 1 or 2 Vampiric Vitalities. My normal rule is buy 2 of these in every solo run, but with Blade it's a little different, obviously, because he's the only one that has Lifesteal as a part of his kit, right? Bloodline Awakening State has Lifesteal, so you can get by with... I've only bought 1 Vampiric Vitality in this run you're seeing in the background gameplay. I only bought 1 of these, and then 1 of the Life Leech red cards, and that was it. Full Moon, obviously, you can only get 3 of these. There are 3 of these cards in the entire deck. You just want to make sure you get all 3 of them before Wave 19. So buy every one of these that pops up, unless you are on Wave 19 going into 20, then you don't buy anymore, because it won't change anything. But I've never had it in a single run yet where I don't get all 3 full moons before Wave 19. So you should be good. Just general rules to buy every one of these. They'll pay for themselves in the long haul. That's it for the cards. Let's talk about general strategies when you get into combat. So with Blade, the one thing I would warn you about, and this is where most of my deaths came from, was you don't want to dash into everything. I know that dashing into things queues up your big spin attack, but you'll notice in waves 15 through 19, I barely ever used my dash into my big spins. Like, that's really your boss DPS tactic. But when it comes to clearing general adds, you're going to have so much extra range on your attacks, and you're going to be doing so much damage that you don't need to risk it for the biscuit by dashing into a mob of enemies. So if I'm going to use my dash and queue up those big spinning attacks, I tend to try to use that on just a standard zombie if you see one. But in the later rounds, most of the zombies that are spawning in will be specials of some kind. So you don't want to dash into something that's going to blow up on you. You don't want to ever dash into a sentinel. I did it a couple times in the early waves and I got away with it, but I did it a couple times in the later waves and I got punished for it. So you don't really need to risk it for that. You're going to have so much damage that you don't need to queue up those spins unless you're specifically damaging bosses. Does that make sense? So try not to use your shift ability to put yourself in unnecessary danger. When it comes to the boss phases, I'm a little bit different with my Blade approach than I am with everybody else. With everybody else, I'm going to try to avoid the bosses and go for the just general zombies that are spawning. And kill all of them first so that then I can just have the bosses to deal with. But with Blade, it's a little bit different. You have so much range. You are sucking adds into one another with the Sacrificial Sigil cards that we've bought. So we really don't need to go away from the bosses and focus on the adds. So you'll notice in the gameplay here, I'm really just killing the bosses. I'm just focused on the bosses the entire time. But the thing that I do is I line the bosses up in such a way that I am damaging the boss and my damage is going through the boss in the direction of the enemy spawns. Does that make sense? So I'm lining everything up so that it's me and then the boss and then the zombies. So every attack I do is going to hit the boss. It's also going to bleed through the boss and hit all the general zombies. And I'm going to wipe all of those general zombies without ever making them a priority. It's just going to be a passive thing that's happening in the background. And we have so much lifesteal that even if we do get hit with a pool of the green goo, it's not a problem because we're doing so much damage to these bosses. We're offsetting that damage in real time. And you'll see that my HP in these boss fights, like, I'm losing 3,000 HP at a time in chunks, but I'm gaining it back in less than a second. It's a split second and I'm back to full health. So it's just not a problem. And we have got so much range at this point because we've extended our range with those red cards that all the damage we do through the boss is going to reach so far towards the zombie spawns that they're never going to get close to us to begin with. So we don't have to worry about things exploding on us. We don't have to worry about the sentinels running up on us because they're going to die so fast. A note about Wanda in her final stand. I don't prioritize crystals. All I'm going to do is I'm going to dash at her, and I'm just going to keep spinning. So your spin attack, like I said earlier, that's your boss DPS. And I'm going to circle her. And as I circle her, the damage that I'm doing is not just damage in front of me, it's all around me in this vertical circle, which means if a crystal's behind me, it's going to get broken immediately. If it's in front of me, it's going to get broken immediately. So if I'm constantly rotating around Wanda in her final stand, that means that every crystal she spawns is just passively going to get destroyed without me making it a priority. Now, when we are doing damage to Namor, he obviously has his, he's got two things we got to worry about. Let's start with the bubble. This is the thing that most heroes that you're going to play in this mode have to worry about, the bubble. The bubble is like the one thing that's going to kill you the most. Blade does not have to worry about the bubble because as soon as you get bubbled, you just hit your block button to do your parry, and it will break the bubble immediately. So he bubbles you. For me on PC, I just hit right click and the bubble breaks. I fall right back down to the ground, no problem. So it's just such an easy ability to counter. So make sure that as Blade, you're just ready for that. Anytime that he's on the battlefield and he's not on the ground yet, he's still hovering in the air, he can do his bubble attack, be ready to use your parry to break the bubble and get out of it free. And then when he is on the ground, like I said, our spin move is our boss DPS attack. So we're going to get right up on him, we're going to dash into him, we're going to queue up our spins, and we're going to cook his HP. But then he's going to throw his whales. And what I would tell you is look at the floor, because you'll see these blue circles. And if you're in the blue circle, that means the whale's going to hit you. Pretty obvious. And then what you do is you wait just a little bit, because you want that whale to fly through the air. But right before it comes down, there's a window where you can perfect parry as Blade. You can do this in PvP as well. It's part of my Blade guides, like learning how to perfect parry attacks from enemy players. And the same principle applies here to your Namor fight. He's going to throw these whales at you, and you're going to want to wait until the last second to do your parry, and then you will perfectly block that whale. You will get no damage, and you will not get knocked on the floor. So you can survive every single whale this way. And it's really a pretty forgiving window as long as you just kind of like feel out the timing. You get it down once, and you've pretty much got it down from then on out. But parry every whale. As soon as the whale hits the ground, you're going to want to dash again to maximize your spin time and kill him as quickly as possible. But he is so easy, guys. When it comes to the double Wanda phase, usually I like to focus one Wanda down at a time. But with Blade, we have so much HP, we have so much life leech, and we have so much damage that, guys, it frankly does not matter. Just damage any Wanda you see. I try to just keep them staggered so that they're not both going into their bubble phases at the same time. So I go bubble, break it, damage the other one, bubble, break it, and then damage the other one, bubble, break it. Does that make sense? We're alternating bubble phases so that they're not both exploding at the same time, but even if there is a little overlap there, you're fine. Once they get to final stand, I usually just focus the one that's at final stand. That means you're going to have to play it by ear here. So as you're doing damage to the Wanda that's in final stand, ask the question, what's the other Wanda doing? If she's in her bubble state, that means her stun bubbles are spawning all over the place, specifically anywhere you have been. So just stay in motion. You should have enough range built into your kit right now that you can do a full loop around Wanda in her final stand, and then just take 2 steps back and do that same circle around her a little bit wider. Take a step back, do that same circle around her a little bit wider, and you'll avoid all of these bubbles. It's no problem at all. Quite easy to do. And then obviously once you've got that first Wanda down, now you're just at the home stretch. This is a walk in the park from here on out. It's just single target damage. You got nothing to worry about. So I didn't, like I said, didn't die in wave 15. Didn't die at all in wave 20. They are a cakewalk with Blade. This is why I saved him for last in the guides. But anyways, I hope you found this helpful. Hopefully this is something that you can glean a little bit of information from and have a little bit more confidence as you go into your Blade clear. And hopefully you can get all of your titles. I've got all of them now. And the good thing about these titles is that obviously once you clear them, you get 100 units for every solo clear. So that's, 5 characters you could do that on. That's 500 free units to spend in the store on, dope skins and stuff. So definitely worth doing. It's pretty easy to do once you learn the strategies. But anyways, hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend as you head into a holiday season. Be safe, be warm and well fed, my friends, and hope to catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.